This place is phenomenal.
They're teasing us.
In the words of the great Hannibal Smith, I love it when a plan comes together.
Oh, mate, what an experience.
Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. This is Staffordshire, and last week I had the pleasure of travelling up and spending some time with my Apex buddy and WildX podcast co-host Mike Phelps at his wildlife area. The Buzzards, well, they kept us waiting, but my word was it worth it. And if you stay to the end of the video, I promise you we had the most magnificent nocturnal visitor too. Join Mike and I as we share some travel chat, talk about tours, photographic composition, and have such a laugh. It was great to catch up with him, so why don't you join us and see how we got on.
The thing is, mate, the way it was the other day, the Tawny just, there was no salt, just all of a sudden, just
It's there.
straight out the wood.
When did you put the box up in the end?
I think I put it October. I'll tell you now, because I took a photo when we were doing it. There we go. Oh, 6th of November.
There he is.
If not, that's that fucking jay there, look. He's impersonating.
He is as well.
He's impersonating the Buzzard. He's doing that to scare something off, that's what it must be. Mate, how close was that?
It sounded identical to the
Yeah. I was convinced it's only because I seen that branch move and I looked to see if the Buzzard was on there. I can't believe how much that just sounded like a buzzard.
I mean, the minute that it started calling, I was ears everywhere because it just sounded identical.
I had someone in here the other week and they were saying the buzzard's in, and I said, that could be the jay mimicking it.
I've never heard a jay mimic a buzzard.
I knew they did, and I've heard, yeah, but I mean, I must have heard it before, but that, obviously, I was watching the jay then, and it was like its mouth was moving at the same time.
I hadn't even clocked it.
It'd be amazing to catch that on camera, wouldn't it?
Jay mimicking a buzzard.
Why do you think would it do that? Would it do it do you think to warn off other birds?
I think it's probably doing it to warn off other birds because it knows that other birds probably scarper when they see a buzzard or hear a buzzard.
Yeah. Interesting though, isn't it? As long as they don't start impersonating my wife.
Oh, right.
Telling me to go home because I've been here too long.
What would it sound like though?
Yeah, get yourself home. You've been there for 3 days.
That kind of thing, though. I know we chat about it all the time, but you don't get to witness that type of behaviour, do you?
Honestly, what I've seen here, mate, as you know, you think you can read the birds and then they throw you a curveball, but you get to see the habits, the behaviour, the stuff that they do. I mean, they were mating in front of us last week, male and female buzzard. You don't get to see that usually, do you?
No.
Next time we're sat in a hide together, mate.
I know what you're going to say.
Where are we going to be?
I tell you what, it's not going to be much warmer than this because it's getting quite warm in here now.
It is, yeah.
Spain. I cannot wait.
I've had to think about what I'd like to photograph the most, and I keep on changing my mind. What are you looking forward to the most?
Do you know what? I know we've both now had the benefit of seeing golden eagle, but seeing golden eagle in a completely different light, seeing it in that sort of golden hour light, will be special, and it's a completely different setting. The trouble is we're sport for choice because there's so many different species that we're likely or hopefully going to see. I mean, they reckon it could be 50, up to 50 species.
Honestly, that many. I know you've done all the work on this one, mate, so I'm sort of like going in a little bit blind. The one thing for me, though, I'm really looking forward to doing some stuff with vultures.
Oh,
because you can get some really unique type of images with them.
You can. The thing that I think creatively is going to be the biggest challenge with the vultures is because they're in such high numbers at the place that we're going to see them, and obviously they're not the only scavengers there, but it's going to be either creating something which is interesting compositionally with like more than one in the frame.
Yeah.
Because I think actually separating one off to take a portrait or a behavioural type image is going to be quite challenging.
Yeah.
Because I mean it's going to be a free for all.
If you photograph a group, you want that group within. You still want it composed correctly.
You do, and you almost want. And I think the way that the hide's set up is in such a way that, you know, we're going to be taking wide angle lenses. Who was it that we interviewed on the podcast that spoke about the hero shot?
Rob Pilley.
Yeah. And so you want that kind of hero shot where you can literally be at a low level photographing up.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you could get some unbelievable shots of vultures on the ground at eye level, wide angle. Yeah. Some of those shots that Mark Freebury took in Iceland of the foxes. I mean, the detail is ridiculous.
Yeah, he was loving it. You'd have probably seen on my video. We just sat down on the log, and it was like, you couldn't believe the images he was getting.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go for all types. You could go for sort of like that really nice tight shot, but then your environmental type shots, if it's that type of location, like when we do the white-tailed eagles in Mull, and because you've got such beautiful scenery around you, it doesn't matter how you crop that image, it still looks beautiful, doesn't
Well, and I think the beauty of something like Mull, when you do it, because we do that trip twice, like Andy said when he was up there last time, you can almost, you get your bankers on the first trip, and then the second trip you've got that opportunity to be completely creative, go and capture something totally different, or try and get some video footage, or do something that is, I mean, that environmental image that he took up there that I absolutely love.
Andy.
Yeah,
it was lovely.
Of the white-tailed eagle with the rocky cliffs in the background is an absolutely spectacular image.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, do you know what the other thing is as well? And I think this is something we actually spoke about on the podcast when we were talking about it, was the fact that, and I know Dan Willis has mentioned it on a few of his videos from up there, but when you're photographing the eagles, everybody goes on that trip to get that diving image of the eagle taking the fish, and then either start chimping the back of their camera to see what it looks like, or literally stop taking images. And sometimes, in actual fact, a couple of the images that I like the most that I took from that trip last year, one of them was with two eagles in the frame, was after that had happened. Literally in those moments afterwards where it takes the fish, it banks round. You can often get, and it's again, you don't necessarily know that unless you take your eye away from the camera sometimes and just observe what's going on, because you're so focused in that viewfinder.
And I know it is important to check your images, because you want to take some shots, have a look at what they look like compositionally, just so you can go, right, okay, I know what I'm doing now. But some people spend that much time looking at their images to see which one's the best one, and oh, I like that one. And you think you've got 23 hours. No, you're on the boat for 3 hours. You've got 21 hours.
I wish it was
21 hours to look at them all. We'll do that after.
I know, it's crazy.
Get your images whilst you're on the boat and spend the next 21 hours looking after them.
Spain will be here before we know it. What? Spain, then Mull.
Spain, Mull.
Then back to Spain for links.
Yeah.
With Norway in between.
Yes.
It's exciting times though.
Very exciting. Keep on telling my wife it's all work. I've got to go, it's work.
It's not just the physical tiredness, it's the mental, because you're constantly worrying about or making sure that everybody's having a good time, having the right experiences, getting the right opportunities, that they're happy, that they're getting the shots that they want, you know, and that's quite physically draining.
And on top of that, you think, let's just look at Norway. We were up at 4 o'clock in the morning cooking breakfast, then we're out at 5, then we're back late on the night. Straight away, one of us is in the kitchen, the other one's helping editing. So you do that, before you know it, it's 11 o'clock on the night.
And you're back up at 4:30.
Back up at 4:30, so it's long hours, but
worth it
when it's something that you love. Although it's tiring, it's still nice to do.
It could come in from.
There's sparrows around.
Really?
I can tell.
So we've got a buzzard up in the tree.
Buzzards, though, unfortunately, really play with you. I'm not going to be up that tree for up to 2 hours.
Oh, that's that. The buzzard is no longer in the tree.
I told you. where she is, she might as well jump fly over onto one of these birds. Because to fly back onto that tree. Oh, sparrowhawk. Did you hear him all? Beep, 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 beep. She's stood facing us. I can see her white breast. Looking right over here.
Yeah, I can see it.
Come on.
The light's just got better.
Yeah. Just lead. See, he usually dives in. Can you see the left-hand fork on that big tree? There's a branch that goes right out to the left.
Yeah.
Then it forks. There's a thick fork at the top, usually on that fork there. But he did dive off that the other day, where he is now, for the tournament.
So, in the words of the great Hannibal Smith, I love it when a plan comes together.
Oh, mate, what an experience.
So we've just sat in Mike's hide for 5.5 hours. We've been waiting for the buzzards to come down. We've, as I said before, had quite a bit of activity. We had the fox come in, which was completely out of the blue. And then we sat watching the buzzards, sat in the tree for the best part of probably an hour and a half, maybe even more.
Longer, yeah.
Then they came down. We thought they were both going to come down onto the perch. One came in, not sure, was it male or female?
The male that's come in, yeah.
Male came in, female stayed or flew into a slightly different tree. And then they flew around, probably circled the area, then dropped back into the same tree that they started in, and then started mating, which I will pop onto the screen for you to have a look at now. So for anybody that saw the video that I did a couple of weeks ago up at Tom Robinson's of the kestrels mating, well, you're now being treated to buzzards mating too. So we're going to head back to the car, set up for this evening session, and hopefully tonight we'll get a visit from the Tawnies.
They ain't going to be mating. They've already mated. She's on eggs.
Yeah, but we've, funnily enough, we actually heard the female Tawny calling earlier. Probably only about, what, 2:30, 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Calling from one of the trees. But yeah, hopefully hopefully at least the male will drop in later, because she's probably busily brooding up now.
Yeah, on the eggs.
On the eggs, but what an afternoon. So we've just grabbed a few bits from the car, put a couple of extra layers on, and now we're heading back down to the hide. This place is phenomenal, and for those of you that don't know, Mike now runs sessions here, and for the next few months is going to be running evening sessions here, which, because the buzzards typically turn up quite late in the day, will give anybody the opportunity of hopefully being able to photograph buzzards and tawnies in the same session. Probably run for maybe about 4 hours.
Yeah, I would say so.
Of an evening. So
you want to get the last couple of hours of sunlight and then the first couple of hours of darkness.
So if anybody's interested in that, I'm sure you already know and probably follow Mike anyway. If you don't, I'll drop his details in the description, but also up on the screen, both in his Instagram and his YouTube, so you can drop him a message. And we're up near Sutton Coldfield, so it's pretty accessible from most places in the UK, to be honest. So I would highly recommend anybody that wants to try and photograph buzzards and tawnies to get in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure Mike hopes you've enjoyed it too. If you have, please take a couple of minutes to give it a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing. It's free, and it really does help me to grow the channel. Until next time, take care of each other, get out there in nature, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.